So yeah, we're done with importing all the GIS features, and well, if we want, now we can, try creating these reaches and links and stuff. So you guys remember how to do that now, right? You guys know how to do that. So let's start with the creating reaches. So go to reach creation tool. And then we're just going to recreate what's on here on the left. So last time when we created reaches, we're basically doing it without, GIS file. And, when I was teaching you guys like how to do it, I was trying to do it more in a similar fashion to what we had on the exam. So instead of having junctions here and here and, links here and here and here and whatnot, like I just like wanted to make it like a simpler version, which you guys had to do on the exam. So that's why I just had you guys go from like subbasin 1 here to draw reach that all the way to junction 1 here, and then from here to here. But I guess with GIS file, and when you know exactly like where the rivers are flowing, then you can try to draw like all these junctions and reaches and links, just the way like how the actual rivers are flowing. So you might be asking like, why is this reach here and why is this link here? And well, to tell you the answer, you have to look at where the outlet is. So in real life, if you go to this watershed area, there's an outlet like right here. So there's a river flowing from this subbasin on the left, and then there's another water flowing from this subbasin. But then the outlet is only in this subbasin. So if the subbasin already has like its own outlet, then you can use a link to connect with your subbasin. But when the subbasin doesn't have an outlet like this left one, and it's actually flowing into this outlet, which is in this these other subbasin, that's when you use reach. So basically, if your subbasin doesn't have outlet, then you have to use reach. And then from subbasin, from junction 1, it's also flowing to junction 2, so that's a different outlet, so you use reach. And then from this subbasin, there's no outlet in this subbasin, and then the next outlet is here, so you have to reach from here to here. But then when it comes to this subbasin down here, 220104, it does have its own outlet. So this outlet, this junction, belongs to this subbasin, so it just only uses link from here to here. And then from junction 2 to junction 3, it's reach. And then from 220105 to junction 3, it's also reach. But if you look here, 220106, because this 220106 subbasin has the outlet, it's only using the link to connect itself. Okay, so yeah, that's why it looks like that. And then when you do this in HEC HMS, you're still going to link all the subbasins with the junctions with link. But when you draw reaches, you're not going to draw reaches for all of them. Only for the ones that need reaches. Okay, because they don't have their own outlet in their subbasin. So I think you guys already know how to do this now, but so let's do this real quick. So let's go to reach creation tool, and then let's try to copy whatever's on the left. So from 220102, so that's this one, to the outlet is like, let's say it's around like here. Okay, so that's a wait. Actually, let me draw a junction first, my bad. So junction creation tool, that's the fourth one. So that's let's draw a junction 1 about here, because that's where the river is flowing. And then let's draw junction 2, so that should be over here. Let's draw junction 3, that should be around let's draw around here. Okay, so I know you might be confused right now, so let me explain this a bit. So this junction 3 side, is basically like over here, and junction 2 is like over here, and junction 1 is over here. So it's basically this watershed. If you rotate it to the right, okay, so if you just rotate this whole thing to the right, then it looks like this. So I'm trying to look at this figure on the left and try to match it on the right. So yeah, we have our 3 junctions. So let's go back to drawing reach. So go to reach creation tool, and let's go from 220102, which is this one, and then from there let's go to junction 1, create, and then from junction 1 to junction 2, create, and then from 220103 to junction 2, create, and then from junction 2 to junction 3, so click on junction 2 and click on junction 3, create, and then 220105 to junction 3, create. So we have our 5 reaches now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reaches. And then let's just go to the arrow tool and stop there. And now if we go to the basin here, you know, we have all these different basins, and to make things a little bit simpler, let's just remove all the very small rivers. We don't need these. Like, these are actually getting in the way a bit. Yeah, so let's just have that. Yeah, so now it looks like the figure on the left. So from 220101, we have to connect it to downstream junction 1. And then for the area, see, like, area is already here, because so if we go to a subbasin 220101, we have the area already 138.49, so that's basically 138, right? And this was subbasin 2 for the homework, so you know, subbasin 2 138. So we don't even have to put in area anymore, and then we only need to change the loss method to SCS curve number. Say yes. I mean, area is already completed. Go to loss, and then type in, you know, curve number again, 80 impervious. Oh, 80. Okay. So it's just same numbers. Transform. We have, you know, TC. This is subbasin 2, so it's 1.18. Storage coefficient 0.96. And then base flow, we have initial discharge. Well, I don't think I have it here, but yeah, we can put in, you know, initial discharge 10, recession constant 0.79, ratio 0.1, and then we're done. So, you know, it's basically the same thing we did with the homework, but you know, instead of having subbasin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when we use GIS, we get the actual numbers of the subbasins, or the numbers of the station that they have in each, you know, subbasin. So yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna do all these numbers again, because it's basically what we did for homework 2. And now you guys can get the idea of how it works when you use GIS file and bring it over to HEC HMS. And you know, after that, the process is the same. You know, you put in all these values into all these basins, and just try to make sure that you connect the connect each subbasin to the right junction. So you know, 220102 is supposed to be connected to junction 1, and 220101 is supposed to connect to junction 1, and then for, you know, 220103, it's connected to junction 2, not junction 1. So you have to remember all those things. But basically, it's the same thing as the homework. And then once you're done with making all of this, you can, you know, go back to these tables and then fill out all these numbers, just like the way we did before. And then for the precipitation data, so once you're done with this part, if you remember, you go to components, and you have to do meteorological model manager. So new, create, remember this. close the manager, go here, go to mat 1, go to basins tab, include sub basins, yes, we're good there, and then go to specify hydrograph, and you have to change all this later. Remember, this is the part you have to come back. Okay, so components, control specifications manager, new, create, close the manager, and then you go to control, you put in the time data, this 2000 January 1st to 2000 January 2nd. So I mean, we already did this for the homework, so I think you guys should know by now, but like this, and then change this to 1 hour, right? So you just do that, and then you go to components, time series data manager, new, create, and then you go to gauge like this, and then you have to change this to 1 hour time interval, and then you go here and then change this to 2, and then go to table. So you have the table, you have the data, right? So again, 0.7, enter, 6.3, enter, and so on. And you do that until 5.2 at the bottom. And once you're done with that, you should have a graph, right? And then once you're done with that, you're not done. You have to go back to specified hydrograph. Remember this? This is all from the homework. And then you have to now change this none to gauge 1, gauge 1, gauge 1, and so on. And once you're done with that part, then you can go to compute. Okay, this button, compute. And then go to create compute, simulation run, and then next, and then finish. Okay, and then you go here. Remember this? So go here, open it, click on run 1, and then click on this icon next to it, and it should compute all your work. I mean, right now it's not going to work because I didn't finish it, but the basic steps are same as the homework, so I'm not going to repeat it in this video. If you want to find out how to do it, watch the previous video that I did for homework number 2, and you'll get exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so the only difference was that we brought the GIS file to HEC HMS, and we did that by first making the components basin. So we first made the basin, and then once we had the basin window popped up, like this basin model window, then we went to GIS, import georeference elements, and then we imported each shapefile. The only thing you have to be careful is when you import these files, you have to know which one you should be bringing. So if I click on Tewa again, and next, see, like you see there's like 4 different things, but if you click the wrong one, if you choose the wrong one, you're not gonna get the same file that I got. So in this case, I use SBS NCD, the third one. That's how we got this subbasins. So that's the only thing you have to be careful for. So the rest is the same as homework number 2, so I'm not going to repeat it, but the goal is to basically make what's on the left here. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and in the next lecture we'll have we'll talk about HEC RAS. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.